Vladimir Guerrero Jr. signing a $500 million contract extension to stay in Toronto? Let's talk about it. So I know I'm a little bit late on this one, but I do want to talk for a second about the Guerrero Jr. extension. He was recently paid a 14-year, $500 million contract extension to stay with the Blue Jays. That contract goes through 2039, which would be Guerrero's age 40 season, and is equipped with a $325 million signing bonus. The first $20 million of that bonus gets paid out this year. He gets it immediately. The rest of the signing bonus goes along with the rest of the contract to be spread out over 14 years. So he signs this contract, he gets $20 million right away, and then the extension kicks in next year. Guerrero was set to be probably the top free agent in the offseason to probably garner the most money outside of Kyle Tucker. I do think Guerrero was going to get a little bit more money than Kyle Tucker because he's 4 years younger. And I think this is a great contract overall. I've got no problems with it. Vladdy Jr. is a Canadian citizen. He was born in Montreal when his dad, Guerrero Sr., was with the Expos, and Toronto was where he wanted to be. And in a previous video, we talked about T.J. Watt of the Pittsburgh Steelers apparently not wanting to give them a hometown discount. And this is what this looks like to me. Granted, $500 million is a lot of money. And maybe we've been a little bit jaded with some of the contracts we've seen recently, because $500 million is still ridiculous. But, you see Shohei Ohtani with $700 million, Juan Soto with $765 million. And obviously, I don't think Vladdy was going to get that. I don't think he was going to get Shohei money or Juan Soto money, because Shohei and Juan Soto are two of the best players in all of baseball. Not to say that Guerrero's not, but his numbers have not quite been the same. He did have probably his best career year a year ago when there were talks, at least at some point of the season, where he was going to he was an MVP candidate. He had career highs in almost every category except for homers and RBIs, which he had career highs in 2021 with 48 and 111 respectively, but he had a career high in hits in 2024 with 199. He had a career best 323 average, a career second best on-base percentage of 396, just 5 points shy of his career best. And he had, as I said, career highs in hits with 199, had 44 doubles, 30 homers, 103 RBIs. He walked 72 times. He struck out 96, which is still a high number, but his previous 3 seasons he struck out over 100 times. So he cut down on the strikeouts. He had a great year. If it weren't for Aaron Judge being Aaron Judge, he might have been the AL MVP. And he's had a decent start to this year, just about 14, 15 games. He has not hit a homer yet at the time we're recording this, which is Wednesday afternoon, the 16th of April. So maybe by the time this comes out, he will have 1 or 2. But I like this contract in general. He is a good player. He wasn't going to get that $700 million mark. But I do think, what I question a little bit, is I do think he shortchanged himself a little, because he was going to be the top free agent in the class, which by itself tends to make some teams panic a little about, this is the top guy, we got to be the ones to get him, we got to win the offseason. I do think he potentially had a chance to maybe get 550 or 600 somewhere else, simply because he was going to be the top free agent. The overall winner in this situation is Kyle Tucker, because now Kyle Tucker is going to be the top guy. Somewhere in Chicago, Kyle Tucker watches Vladdy Jr. sign this extension and thinks, yes, this is my time. There speculation on where Kyle Tucker would sign, whether it would be the Dodgers, the Yankees, or the Phillies, all the big market teams, which makes my skin crawl. So if anything, I hope he re-signs with the Cubs. because he's looking like he could potentially, if he stays healthy, have MVP caliber season in the National League. But back to Guerrero, I do think Guerrero potentially left some money out there, but Toronto's where he wanted to be, so he obviously gave them what I think is a hometown discount to stay there. It's where he wanted to be. He is Canadian. But the thing that's most concerning to me, it's not that Guerrero potentially left money on the table, and as I'm sure he did, for reasons I've already stated. But what's concerning to me is that Toronto's comfortable with giving him that money, and he wants to be there when there looks to be no real direction in what they're doing. Toronto for years has had a lot of good pieces, but it doesn't seem like they've been able to put that together very well. Toronto is playing well so far this year. They're 10-8 as we're recording this, and they are playing right now. They're playing a day game against Atlanta as we're recording this, so that will change. They did win 3 out of 4 against the Red Sox a couple series ago, but the series before that, they suffered a 3-game sweep by the Mets, and the series before that, they swept the Nationals. So this, in a nutshell, is the Toronto Blue Jays. They get hot for short periods of time, and they get cold for short periods of time, and it all evens out to be about 500. And in a division as tough and getting tougher as the AL East, you got to do more. And then there were reports this offseason that Bo Bichette didn't want to be there. And if you lose Bo Bichette, you've really got to supplement that. They did bring in Anthony Santander on a contract this offseason. They do have Kevin Gausman, who has been excellent ever since he got there. And they do have Jose Barrios, who I think could be the ace he once was in his first couple of years. But they just haven't seemed to be able to put the pieces together. So from that standpoint, I have to wonder, what is Toronto doing? They're locking in Guerrero, but they haven't, in the last few years that they've had him, and Bichette, they have not shown intention to build around them the way we've seen some other teams be like, oh, we got these couple of core players, let's go all in, like the Phillies do. Like we've seen with the Orioles with their young core. Like, although we would have liked to see the Orioles bring back Corbin Burns or Anthony Santander if they were serious about it, we've seen the Red Sox do in the last couple of off seasons of really being aggressive, trading for Crochet, signing Bregman, the young guys they have coming up. They're putting the pieces together. It doesn't seem to me like Toronto is, which makes this signing all the more confusing to me. You retain your superstar that wants to be there, seemingly at a discount, but the real question is, what are you going to do next? That's the question. This can't be it. Right now, you're in second place in the AL East, but we're only 18 games in. It's going to get tougher. All 5 teams in this division are separated by 3.5 games, 16, 17 games in. And I feel like this division is going to be like that all season long. So if Toronto wants to make the most of this $500 million contract, if they want to make the most of retaining Vladdy, they've got to keep Bo Bichette. They've got to get production out of Santander. They've got to get Scherzer healthy. They've got to do more, or else this is just going to be another 500 season for the Toronto Blue Jays. It's already starting that way. So that's the puzzling thing about this contract to me. It's not that Vladdy signed it because that's where he wants to be. It's not that the Jays did it because they obviously want to hang on to their superstar. It's what's going to happen next, because that is the question Toronto has failed to answer the last few seasons that they've had Bo Bichette and Vladdy. But now that question gets even bigger because they've spent all this money on Vladdy after missing out on the Shohei Ohtanis and the Juan Sotos and the Freddie Freemans of the world in past off seasons. But now that money has been spent. That commitment has been made. What are you going to do to make it worth it? Let me know in the comments what you think about the Vladdy contract. Until next time, I'm Janero. This is Empire Sports Talk. It's a good day to go 1-0, and I'll see you on the next one.